In this video, I'll be showcasing 10 more of your guys' Eradicator exotic ideas. If you happen to enjoy this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing and using code WATSOG in the Fortnite item shop. Alright, let's get straight into the video. So first up, we have the Eradicator Gilded Missile. This is an exotic version of the guided missile, and the more gold you have, the bigger the blast radius on the explosion from the Eradicator Gilded Missile will be. When you fly the missile near your teammates, they will gain the gold rush effect. So this is a very simple exotic, right? You know, more gold, bigger explosion, you know, kind of fits with the whole gilded kind of theme. And as well, it gives your teammates the gold rush effect when the rocket is flown near them. So not only is this a very good offensive weapon, it's a very good support item as well. So I think this exotic would be fairly solid. You know, I think it would be pretty good. Although, you know, the guided missile in build modes isn't too good, you know, nowadays. But I definitely think this weapon would be very, very solid in no builds. Might even be a little bit broken, I'm not gonna lie. Especially if you have like max gold, you know. Next, we have the Eradicator Gravity Ray Gun. And this is an exotic version of the Chimera Ray Gun. And while holding the Eradicator Gravity Ray Gun, you'll be granted the low gravity effect. While in the air, you will not have to recharge the Eradicator Gravity Ray Gun. So basically, while you're in the air, you could just shoot it indefinitely, no worries. But as soon as you land, you're gonna have to cool down again, right? So, you know, kind of encourages you to like use the exotic effect quite a bit. So I think this would be a solid exotic effect. Although it being a ray gun, I don't know how good it would actually be, because the ray gun's just not really known for being a very solid weapon, you know? So, who knows, maybe this weapon would be really good, but I just think it would be like a fun little gimmick weapon to use like once in a while and be like, okay, that was fun. I'm gonna go back to like actually trying to win the game now. So, you know, I don't think this exotic would be the best thing in the world, but you know, it could be fun every once in a while. You know, nothing crazy. Next, we have the Eradicator Sprite Launcher. This is an exotic version of the Proximity Grenade Launcher, and when you fire the Eradicator Sprite Launcher, a random active sprite will be launched, not including the Superman sprite, of course. You will be able to pick up these sprites again. So basically, you shoot this thing, a random sprite will shoot from the launcher, right? Either a water sprite, an air sprite, or a dash sprite, because those are the only three sprites, not including the Superman sprite, right? So one of those three will shoot, and their effects will become active immediately. The dash sprite will have the little like dash effects that you can go into. The wind sprite will automatically launch in the air once you're near it, and the water sprite will heal you, so you don't have to pick them up and throw them down to use them, right? And you can also pick them up again, although I will mention here that they will already be down one use, so you can't just pick it up and be like, oh, I have 3 uses of the sprite now. You only have 2, because shooting it already used up one of the uses, right? This is kind of a fun little gimmicky weapon, you know? Not too crazy. Would they ever add something like this? Probably not. I don't know how they would figure out how to add a gun that shoots wildlife. I don't know how they would do that, but you know, if they could, you know, they could add this. But I don't think they'd ever add something like this, especially since, you know, I don't think we're going to really see sprites in the future, you know, considering Chapter 6 is, like, literally going to be over in a month, and that last one's not even going to be on the Chapter 6 map. So, you know, what can you really do? What can you really do about it? But, you know, I think this would be a fun exotic. Alright, next we have the Eradicator Flowberry Shotgun. This is an exotic version of the Frenzy Auto Shotgun, and when you fire the Eradicator Flowberry Shotgun, you'll be granted the low gravity effect for a short period of time. Very simple exotic effect here, you know? It's just a low gravity shotgun. What else could you really want from this? Obviously for movement, this is probably very good, but outside of that, you know, it's a frenzy auto, so obviously people are going to use it. But, you know, the exotic effect isn't going to be really carrying this thing, right? I do think it would be good, but I don't think it would be like a guaranteed pickup. Like, if you saw it on the ground, yeah, you're going to pick it up, but there are better options, at least for exotics in that case. Alright, next we have the Eradicator Firebomb Sniper Rifle. This is an exotic version of the Hunter Bolt Action Sniper Rifle, and when you fire the Eradicator Firebomb Sniper Rifle, the bullet will create a small explosion on impact that will also set structures on fire. This weapon, I would say, is very similar to the Dragon's Breath Sniper Rifle, but just add a little explosion onto that shot as well. So instead of just setting something on fire, it also explodes. So, you know, I think this would actually be like a very, very good weapon. Might even be a little bit too powerful in my opinion, because the Dragon's Breath Sniper Rifle could be really annoying for third party. When you have an explosive effect on that weapon as well, it is not going to end well for your opponent. I'm just going to say that. Especially since you have 3 shots before you have to reload with this thing, because it's a Hunter Bolt. Like, it is so over for your opponent if you run into them with this. This thing is very strong, in my opinion. And I think this would probably be like one of the best exotics in the game. Like, period. Like, I'm being so serious about that. This exotic is really strong, in my personal opinion. Alright, next we have the Eradicator Berserk and Bash. This is an exotic version of the Pump and Dump, and after dealing a solid amount of damage with the Eradicator Berserk and Bash, you'll be given the Enraged effect, which would be a new effect, and it would give you an increased movement speed and damage. So basically, you shoot this thing for a little bit, and you know, you hit a few shots, right? Well, now you got an effect that just gives you better movement speed and better damage, so you can like more effectively like win the fight, right? You know, I think this would be a nice little buff to the pump and dump, although it kind of requires you to use a base pump and dump first. So, you know, there's a little bit of a little catch to it. But once you get this thing going, I think it would be very strong. This could be a good weapon, but, you know, I think it really just depends on who's using it, right? Eradicator, Berserk, and Bash, you know? Interesting idea. Interesting idea. Alright, next we have the Eradicator Bounce Rocket Ram. This is an exotic version of the Rocket Ram, and when you damage an opponent with the Eradicator Bounce Rocket Ram, you'll be bounced up in the air as if you had never hit the ground. This continues until you stop dealing damage. So basically, kind of think about it like this. You launch up in the sky with the Rocket Ram, start coming down, you land, you hit someone with it, so you deal some damage, and then you go bounce right back up, and then you can land on them again and deal damage again. So basically, you just can keep landing on the same person over and over again until you just like stop dealing damage to them. In zero builds, I think this weapon would be very good. In builds, I still think it would be good, but it would just gotta be good because it's a rocket ram, not because it has the exotic effect. Like, short in builds, the effect can come in use like sometimes, but it's not gonna be very often because obviously people are gonna build and they're not gonna be able to damage them. But in zero build, very good. I think this would be very good. And obviously, it's a movement item, so it's always gonna be in the meta some way, right? It's always gonna be a very strong item, in my opinion. Yeah, fun exotic here. Alright, next we have the Eradicator Deadeye Mammoth Pistol. This is an exotic version of the Mammoth Pistol, of course, and when you fire the Eradicator Deadeye Mammoth Pistol, this weapon will gain permanent first shot accuracy for a short period of time, even when you're moving and not aiming in. So basically, think about it like this. You shoot this weapon, and now you just have first shot accuracy the whole time. Right, you know, kind of broken a little bit. Let's just make this like an even more powerful, accurate kind of weapon, right? So I think this would be like very good because it's just a mammoth pistol, but with better accuracy. At the end of the day, like that's what this is. In the right hands, this thing would probably be like overpowered, like really strong. You know, it's a mammoth pistol. It's got to be strong. You know, that's kind of like the whole point of this weapon. But you know, it is what it is. I think this weapon would be strong, but yeah. All right, next we have the Eradicator Slap Rifle. This is an exotic version of the Red Eye Assault Rifle, and it's about as simple as it sounds. While holding the Eradicator Slap Rifle, you'll gain the slap effect indefinitely. So, we've had a few of these exotics before. We've had the High-State Running Gun SMG and the Lawless Slap Shotgun. So, we've seen weapons like this before. They're always good, but, you know, they're more dependent on how good the actual weapon is. The Slap Shotgun is an exotic twin fire, so, you know, it didn't really see a lot of use, but that slap effect was definitely nice. So if you found it on the ground, you're like, I might as well try it out, right? And then the High-State Running Gun SMG was a P90, so obviously it was very good. And this being a Red Eye Assault Rifle, I think would make it very good too. You know, that slap effect is kind of a nice bonus on top of the good weapon, because to be honest, if this didn't have the exotic effect, not much would change about it. Right? I think it would be good, but I don't think it would be good because of the exotic effect. I think it's good because the base weapon's good, you know? It's one of those weapons. But yeah, solid, strong weapon here, in my opinion. Alright, last but definitely not least, we have the Eradicator Quick Switch Revolvers. These are exotic versions of the Kill Switch Revolvers, as you could probably tell, and when you switch away from the Eradicator Quick Switch Revolvers after zooming in with them, the weapon you swap to will have an increased pullout time and increased ADS time for a short period of time. Saying a lot of time there. Like, kind of crazy. I don't know why I didn't change that a little bit, but whatever, too late now. So basically, you shoot with this thing for a little bit, you know, you're ADSing because it's a Kill Switch Revolver, you kind of have to, and then you switch to a different weapon. That weapon will come out way faster, and its ADS time will be greatly increased. So let's say, for example, you have a pulse rifle, a weapon notorious for having a slow ADS time. You use this thing, you switch out of it, not only are you getting that increased pullout speed, but now you can ADS way quicker with it. Like ADS at the time of like a normal assault rifle, right? I think that would be good. Definitely very good for like aggro kind of fights where you kind of need that quicker pullout time. Like if you have a quicker pullout time, you're gonna win the fight. Like let's say you have these, you ADS with them, and now you have to switch to your shotgun, and whoever switches to the shotgun first is the winner. Well, you have these revolvers, so you have the ability to switch to the shotgun, right? So now you get your shotgun out first, you shoot them, and bam, you win the fight. So I think this exotic would be very solid, and I feel like it's one that people would be like, that's all this weapon does, but you know, don't sleep on it until you tried it, bro. This weapon would be very strong in my opinion. Alright, if you guys enjoyed that video, consider leaving a like and subscribing and using code WATSOG in the Fortnite item shop, and yeah, see you in the next one. Later.